For centuries, one question has puzzled kings, scholars, and even conspiracy theorists. How can a people, scattered across the globe, chased out of homes again and again, still rise to become leaders in business, finance, science, and culture? Is it luck? Or is it something far deeper? A set of rules, a blueprint, hidden inside their religion and traditions. Tonight, we're going to pull that blueprint apart, piece by piece. We'll trace the deep history, examine hard data, and demystify the real mechanisms, the cultural habits, the social systems, the economic choices that explain what you see today. By the end, you'll know how, why, when, by whom, and which systems made it possible, and how anyone can adopt the same lessons. Sound too big? Good, let's begin. What do a medieval moneylender, a modern billionaire investor, and a 12-year-old kid memorizing the Torah have in common? No, it's not that they all need reading glasses. Think about it. Answer in the comments. I'll feature the funniest one in the next video. In medieval Europe, Jewish people couldn't own land, couldn't join many guilds, and were locked out of certain jobs. Instead of farming, they had to master portable skills, like reading, writing, trade, medicine, and finance. What looked like a disadvantage became a hidden superpower. Over centuries, this turned into a system. Literacy, adaptability, and international family business networks. Survival itself forced strategy. These were not conspiracies, they were constraints. Constraints that channeled skill into commerce, into literacy, into networks that span borders. Over centuries, those patterns compounded. Because Jewish communities were dispersed, a diaspora, they developed long-distance family and business ties. Portability of skill became a survival advantage, and, quietly, economic leverage. Scholars like Maristella Botticini and Zvi Eckstein have documented this occupational sorting, how historical restrictions led to urban, commerce-centered Jewish populations, and in turn, to intergenerational transmission of commercial skills. Numbers matter. Let's be precise. In the US, over 50% of Jewish households earn above $100K a year, compared to only 20% of the general population. Nearly a quarter earn above $200K, 5 times the national average. In education, 58% of Jewish adults have a college degree, compared to only 29% of Americans overall. In the UK, Jewish people are far more likely to run their own businesses. In Israel, Jewish households earn nearly 50% more than Arab households, largely due to education and tech industries. The pattern is clear. Study, skills, savings, and networks compound into influence. Do those numbers mean the story ends with, they were just richer? No, that's the trap. Numbers tell us what, but they don't explain how or why. That's what we unpack next. If you want a living manual for why habits matter, read the daily life of a child in a Jewish household a century ago. Study was central. Torah and Talmud study created habits. Careful reading, argument, debate, comfort with complex texts, exactly the muscle you need for law, medicine, business, and tech. Now, here's the part most people miss. The Torah and Talmud, Jewish holy texts, are not just spiritual guides. They're filled with life lessons on money, work, and responsibility. Let me show you a few. Education is sacred. In Jewish tradition, teaching your child is considered a commandment. Study isn't optional, it's holy. That's why generations grew up reading, debating, analyzing. In modern times, this means doctors, lawyers, professors, and CEOs. Work is service. In Hebrew, the word avoda means both work and worship. That means even business is seen as spiritual. Selling honestly, building fairly, working hard, all are forms of service. Wealth must be managed. The Talmud says, divide your money into 3 parts, one for business, one for land, and one kept as reserve. That's basically the original investment strategy, 500 years before Warren Buffett. Charity is non-negotiable. The Hebrew word tzedakah doesn't mean charity, it means justice. Giving back is a duty, not just generosity. That reinvests wealth into schools, hospitals, and communities, creating a cycle of growth. Think long-term. Jewish prayers mention children, grandchildren, and generations unborn. That's why family, wealth, education, and businesses are planned not for 5 years, but for 50 to 100 years. Patience is power. Those cultural priorities, education, literacy, debate, translated into modern formal schooling. Jewish families have long invested heavily in their children's education. Over time, that becomes generational human capital. The data we just showed reflects that tractable reality. It's networks, not magic. Dense professional networks, alumni ties, community institutions, mutual aid societies, these all lower transaction costs, reduce search friction, and open doors. Philanthropy wasn't just generosity. It was a way of circulating human and financial capital back into the community, creating more opportunity for the next generation. Imagine a spinning wheel. One generation studies, becomes doctors, lawyers, traders, builds wealth, invests in schools, charities, and networks. The next generation starts higher. That wheel spins faster and faster with each century. That's not magic, that's math, patience, and culture. The historical waves of migration, especially to the US in the 19th and 20th centuries, carried many literate, urbans, entrepreneurial people. That selection met new economies amplified existing advantages. From the Rothschild couriers in the late 18s who beat the newswires with faster information, to today's hedge fund managers and tech founders, the principle is the same: education, networks, and patience. That's why Israel, a tiny country, became the startup nation. They turned military tech into billion-dollar companies like Waze and Mobileye. Same blueprint, new tools. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, reached record-scale AUM in recent years, over 10 trillion, rising into the 10 to 11 trillion range, which shows the enormous scale of modern finance. Money has concentrated in platforms that can move capital globally, instantly. That scale matters, not as proof of a secret cartel, but as evidence of how modern finance concentrates influence. If you control capital allocation at scale, you influence markets, public policy, and corporate strategy. Now, Israel, a small country that intentionally turned national security technology into a global commercial advantage. Cybersecurity, AI, quantum, many tools developed for defense found civilian markets. Trading, cyber risk insurance, fintech infrastructure. In 2025, Israel's tech funding continued surging. Billions flowed into AI, quantum, and fintech startups. Reports show strong funding rallies and even a planned Israel-US $200 million quantum AI fund as part of strategic coordination. This is where military intelligence know-how meets venture capital. This explains why some startups in this space move fast. From defense contracts to global fintech deployments, the technical edge and talent pool make it natural. Let's demystify the toolkit. The actual, copyable behaviors behind wealth and influence. If you want the simplest list, here it is. Study every day. Doesn't matter if it's math, coding, or baking, daily learning builds brain muscles. Prioritize education. Lifelong learning beats short-term hustle. Save and invest wisely. Don't eat all your candy now. Keep some for later. That's how wealth grows. Save and invest with structure. Diversify. Keep safety reserves. Ancient Talmudic advice matched modern portfolio theory. Build networks. Friends, mentors, teachers, they're worth more than gold. Give back. Share knowledge, money, or time. No matter how big or small it is, it always comes back stronger. Think long-term. Don't just plant one seed. Plant a whole forest. Your kids and their kids will thank you. Be geographically and occupationally mobile. Transferable skills protect you. Use philanthropy strategically. It's community insurance and reputation capital. Also, don't forget the Talmudic advice. Divide your wealth into 3 parts. That's basically the original portfolio advice. How do these systems run? Information flows, trusted intermediaries, mentorship channels, formal institutions like schools, universities, communal funds, and capital allocation cycles. Who runs them? Individuals, families, entrepreneurs, foundations, and sometimes large financial institutions. The timeline? Multi-generation. Hey, listen carefully. The real secret is the implementation of specific knowledge and information with patience. Again, not conspiratorial, just long-run compounding of human capital and social capital. Always check sources. I'm linking major public reports and peer-reviewed work in the description, so you can read the forensic evidence yourself. We're entering a machine era. AI, high-frequency trading, quant funds, and automated decision systems. Firms and nations that combine technical talent, capital, and data will have extraordinary leverage. That's why you see tech hubs, venture funds, and national strategies converging now. Comment below. What would you change if you could? So, what's the real secret? It's not luck, not conspiracy, not magic. It's habits and replicable system. Education, learning every day, a culture that treats work as meaningful service and doing it with honesty. So, try to be a part of networks and institutions, and again, save and invest wisely. Giving back, long-term thinking. These are lessons from the Torah and centuries of practice, and they're open to anyone, anywhere. If you want to take one thing away, start with learning what you like. Master your skills, find your talents, strengths, and abilities, make it sharp and polish it well until it becomes your style. And yes, kids, sorry, but one more hour of homework tonight might actually make you rich one day. Blame the rabbis, not me. This story of survival, of adaptive strategy, of patient, systematized effort is ultimately a story about human possibility. It shows how culture, institutions, and choices amplify talent. It gives us a roadmap, not to copy identity, but to copy behavior. If you found this useful, tell me in the comments which one of these you'll try this month. I'll pick one comment and feature it in the next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, systems beat luck. Habits beat hype. And with curiosity, you can rewrite your future. See you in the next one.